Welcome back to Know the Law, the podcast where we explain legal concepts in simple terms, so you can better understand how the law affects your government and your everyday life. Today, we're talking about something that affects almost every society in the world: corruption. We hear about it in news reports. We see it discussed on social media. We feel its impact when public services fail, when roads are unfinished, or when opportunities seem unfair. But despite how often the word is used, many people don't fully understand what corruption actually means under the law. Is corruption only about stealing money? Is it corruption if no cash changes hands? Who decides whether an act is corrupt? And why does corruption seem so difficult to eliminate? In this episode, we'll explain corruption step by step, from its legal definition to its real-world consequences, and what citizens can do. Let's begin. At its core, corruption means the abuse of public power for personal gain. This happens when a public official uses their authority to benefit themselves or others in ways that are not allowed by law. Personal gain does not always mean money. It can include favors, political advantage, protection from punishment, or special treatment. For example, approving a permit in exchange for loyalty, awarding contracts to friends, ignoring violations because of personal connections. All of these can be forms of corruption. In simple terms, corruption occurs when someone entrusted with public responsibility puts private interest first. This is why corruption is so harmful. Public officials are meant to serve the people. When they serve themselves instead, the entire system suffers. Trust collapses, institutions weaken, and ordinary citizens lose confidence in government. Corruption appears in many everyday situations. Some of the most common examples include bribery, when someone gives money or gifts to influence a decision. Kickbacks, when officials secretly receive a percentage from government projects. Favoritism, when jobs or contracts go to relatives or friends regardless of qualifications. Ghost projects, when funds are released for projects that never actually exist. Overpriced contracts, when project costs are inflated so someone can pocket the excess. Misuse of public funds, when government money is spent for personal purposes. What makes corruption dangerous is that it often hides behind paperwork. Documents look official. Signatures appear valid. Everything seems legal on the surface, but behind the scenes, decisions are being manipulated. This is why corruption is often described as a silent crime. It doesn't always leave obvious traces. Corruption is not just unethical, it is illegal. There are laws designed specifically to punish corrupt behavior. These include anti-graft laws, bribery provisions, and laws addressing large-scale theft of public funds. These laws prohibit public officials from receiving gifts connected to their duties, entering contracts where they have personal interest, using their position to gain financial advantage, diverting public money, interfering in official processes for private benefit. Penalties may include imprisonment, heavy fines, forfeiture of illegally acquired assets, and permanent disqualification from public service. The purpose of these laws is not only punishment. They exist to protect taxpayers, preserve public trust, and maintain integrity in government. When corruption is suspected, several institutions come into play. The Office of the Ombudsman investigates complaints against public officials. Prosecutors evaluate evidence and decide whether criminal charges should be filed. Courts determine guilt or innocence. Audit agencies review government spending. Each institution has a specific role. Together, they form a system meant to prevent abuse. However, corruption cases are often complicated. They involve financial records, contracts, witnesses, and long timelines. Some cases take years, others are delayed through appeals and procedural challenges. This slow pace can frustrate the public, but the legal system requires careful investigation to protect due process. Proving corruption is one of the hardest tasks in law enforcement. Corrupt acts rarely happen in public. Meetings are private. Payments may go through intermediaries. Documents may be altered. Witnesses may fear retaliation. In powerful cases, accused officials often have access to lawyers, resources, and political allies. Money may be hidden through multiple accounts. Assets may be placed under other names. Because of this, prosecutors must rely on financial trails, testimony, and circumstantial evidence. Courts require proof beyond reasonable doubt. This high standard protects innocent people. But it also means many corruption cases fail due to lack of evidence. If a public official is convicted of corruption, the consequences are serious. They may be sentenced to prison. They may be ordered to return stolen funds. They may be permanently banned from holding public office. Properties acquired through corruption may be seized. These penalties exist to deter others from abusing power. They also reinforce an important principle. Public office is a public trust. It is not a personal business opportunity. Conviction also sends a message to society that accountability is possible, even for powerful individuals. Corruption cases often become politically charged. Supporters defend accused officials, opponents demand punishment, media coverage intensifies. But legally, corruption should be decided by evidence, not popularity. Politics may influence public opinion, but courts must focus on facts. It's important to separate legal accountability from political drama. Otherwise, corruption becomes reduced to noise instead of addressed as a serious crime. Many people feel helpless when they hear about corruption. But citizens still have power. You can report suspicious activity. You can document irregularities. You can demand transparency from public offices. You can support independent institutions. You can stay informed. And most importantly, you can vote responsibly. Corruption thrives in silence. Accountability grows when citizens stay engaged. Change may be slow, but awareness is always the first step. Let's summarize. Corruption is the abuse of public power for personal gain. It appears in many forms. There are laws to punish it. There are institutions to investigate it. But corruption is difficult to prove because it operates in secrecy and power. Still, the law exists to protect the public, and citizens play an essential role in demanding accountability. This has been Know the Law. If this episode helped you understand corruption better, follow the podcast. And tell me in the comments, do you think corruption is mainly a legal problem or a cultural one? Thank you for listening.